Hi, I'm attorney Ed Alexander with the Entrepreneurship Law Firm. This video I'm going to talk about the three sources of capital for your business. There are basically three places where you can get money to grow your business, and three places only. The first would be bootstrapping, the second is debt, and the third is equity. And we'll talk about the first two of these in this video. Bootstrapping is great because bootstrapping means that you're funding the business based out of either the cash flow or the money that the owners are putting into the business. The nice thing about bootstrapping is it's easy, it's straightforward, and you keep everything for yourself, all of the profits and all of the value in the business. Next up is debt financing. Debt financing, while a little bit more complicated than the bootstrapping, obviously, is a good source as well if you qualify. But it's important to remember that lenders are not in the venture capital business. And what they do is they basically have an exchange. Your ability to get a loan is based on your ability to pay, the actual willingness to pay, basically your credit, and the protections that the lender can get. Now, your ability to pay is something that you have to prove through historical cash flow. You've got to show that the business generates enough money that it can go ahead and service that debt on a regular basis, and that your what's called debt service coverage, your ability to service that debt, is higher than what's left over at the end of every month. Now, the key important part here is if you're starting out, if you're an early stage business, you're really not going to have the ability to get that historical cash flow. From a standpoint of a new business, an early stage business, the ability to pay might be a hindrance, and you'd have to look at SBA financing. As of the date that I'm doing this video, SBA financing is a bit tough to come by unless you've had experience in the business, but that's something you may want to consider. Now, debt financing has some great advantages. Really, in the short term, debt financing is a lot less expensive, and frankly, in the long term, it's also a lot less expensive. Plus, you don't have any minority shareholders in the business. The nice part about this is that if you are used to having the business for yourself and doing what you want, you don't have to go to minority shareholders and get their approval or take into consideration any of the myriad of laws that apply to protecting minority shareholders. That means that you are basically unlimited in your ability to manage the business. You can make decisions on the fly. You can be quick maneuvering. Well, with debt also, the beauty here is that once the debt is paid, there's no drain on cash flow. This means that as the debt is paid off, all of the profits that come out of the business, as well as sale proceeds, go into your pocket as an owner. And then leverage, when things are going well, increases profitability. Let's say, for example, your business generates a 20% net profit. Well, if you have an owner, you have to split that 20% net profit with the co-owner. Whereas with a lender, you only have to pay your interest, which might be 5 or 7%. And the difference, that actual 13 or 15%, goes into your pocket. Now, there are some disadvantages when it comes to debt financing. Obvious among those is the cash flow drain. And that means that no matter what, you have to make that payment, whether times are good or bad. Plus, there's really high risk. Usually those payments begin right away. And even if you have some bumps in the road, you still have to make those payments. Of course, availability is a big issue, especially now, because the banks are not out there lending, and a lot of other avenues are closed as well. So how do you go about getting debt financing? Well, you can go to institutional lenders, which would be banks and insurance companies. If you have accounts receivable and your customers are A1 quality customers, you can even get accounts receivable financing. You can factor your invoices, and usually that works great, except in the case that it is a bit more expensive than your traditional lending. And so in the next video, we're going to talk about equity and how that works for raising capital.